Well, it's been a few short weeks, which means it's that time again. It's time for another director to poke fun of whatever's popular these days because old directors yell at clouds. Rinse and repeat, same thing over and over and over and over. Well, guys, today we are talking about one of the most famous directors of all time, the man responsible for The Godfather. That's right, Francis Ford Coppola. Chances are you've heard of him. Chances are you know who he is. Chances are, well, maybe you haven't seen his films, but you know of his work. I mean, look, if you don't, I don't know what to say. Maybe you're just not that hardcore into films, but you just like generally watching films. That would be understandable. But again, if you're somebody that's like, I don't know, in your 30s up above, you've probably heard of him. Anyways, though, recently he spoke to GQ, who asked him about all the movies that are currently dominating Hollywood. And he does what pretty much everybody else does who's old and doesn't understand what's, popular these days. So he goes on after how all the MCU films are one prototype. They're all the same films. Every MCU film's the same. He also brings some other stuff in there. Denis Villeneuve's Dune, same thing. No Time to Die, same thing. They're all just the same prototype movie over and over. Yeah, he said this. This is true. This is what he said. This is what he said. He does say that they're good films, but what he says is you could just take sequences from one movie, stitch them into the other, and they flow the same. It's the same sequence, the same action sequence. And, I mean, if that's your definition of it's all the same and stuff, sure. But again, people are going to bring up The Godfather, and I've seen this. It's a good argument. You know, I love The Godfather. Certain aspects of those movies, certainly the third film I didn't like, but, you know, people have pointed out, okay, well, why don't we take your films and Martin Scorsese's and it's the same thing, which technically, yes, okay, it's the same thing, but it's the face value thing, which I always bring up. I hate this argument and comparison and how people are just so dead set on this or that, or left or right, or up and down. You know, it's the same thing. It's like you can't do both. It just has to be one way or another. You can't possibly do anything else. It's like when people today see video games that don't understand them. They're like, every single shooter is the same. That's what they think. Every single shooter is the same. You know, back in the day, I used to be the same about RPGs. I didn't start playing RPGs really till like 2010-ish is when I really started to get into them. But I was always like, every RPG is the same. It doesn't matter. You know, I was naive in that way. But to me, I just want to play a certain type of game. This screams of that to me. I don't know what to tell you. Sure, if you agree with him, sure. Congrats. Hats off to you. I clap to you. You are a true cinephile amongst cinephiles. We should all bow down to your big brain. You truly have transcended film and can just pick out the greatest cinema out there that some of us can't, and us enjoying comic book films is a sin against humanity. We're sorry we're not worthy of your big brain. I guess we're just going to start saying that now, if we don't agree with comic movies bad.